This is Roy the Kick Legend. Today we're going to talk to you about manipulating the body. Right? So it's Memorial Day weekend. We're very happy to have Guru Josh Pryor come down and guest instruct at MKG Detroit with us. And of course, I wanted to take the opportunity to get him to talk a little bit in front of the camera. So we're talking about body manipulations in class today, and so they're going to talk a little bit about that in application.
Sure. Yeah, so one of the things I really enjoy about PANANTUKAN is there's a couple of things that make it kind of unique. You know, one of the things that's not unique, it's punching art at its core. But one of the things that makes it really cool is they move the body to put their opponent in a position where it's really hard to hit, but it's really hard for them to mount an offense, but it's really easy for me to mount an offense. So two really basic ideas that we could work from are stuff that you learn when you're a kid. Push and pull. So if for some reason I get into position, you push and see how he's off balance, it makes it really easy for me to punch from there. So you could do it on shoulders, like that, he's on his heel, so that can slide in really simply. If we get here and maybe he's giving me pressure, I pull. This makes it really easy for me to hit shots that's hard for him to mount an offense, right? So if I get to the other side and he maybe throws a punch and I get something, I want to get something here to where it's really hard for him to mount some kind of an offense. But it's easy for me to just go, I guess, for lack of a better term. This is really good. There's really fun drills. You can just kind of work from here. You work it from a pummeling idea, and you just kind of push and kind of grab and move, and that gives you ideas of how to really get the person in a position to where you could put them in a position where you can hit without actually having to hit. But they feel it. As soon as they get here, you know that they're off balance, and you can start getting really efficient with your shots from there. I know on Kick of Legends, it's a lot about striking. And what this is putting them in a position where you can strike and they can't. So if you think ideas, push, push, pull, pull. You can use other parts of the body. You can push the hips down. You can work here. You can push the hips away. Just use different parts of the body, but use that same concept of push and pull. But instead of going into what we would generally think, especially this day and age, is MMA, some kind of grappling or takedown, think putting it into a strike. That way you don't have to hit the ground if you don't want to.
You'll notice, like in our Hubad videos, they're being semi-collaborative here. While looking for the entry, they're flowing against one another, but then after an entry has been completed, they're allowing the partner to explore and play with different finishing ideas.
Don't die.
Right? Good.
He's big, man.
So on the episode I filmed with Marco Smallman here, I talked about outflanking, getting to the outside, and I just wanted to contrast a little bit about the way I kickbox and think about sport versus how this functions. I like a lot of finesse and precision. I liken it to trying to throw a shot into a closing door, and that means I need good body mechanics. Right? If I outflank, I need to throw that on the half beat. I don't have time. So I'm very much about mastering my own motion. This, I liken PANANTUKAN to wedging the door open so you can take that full beat for the full power shot, right? If I'm moving around, I don't have time for that. But if Josh has manipulated me, right, he now has bought himself the time for the anchored shot, for the full beat power shot. And, you know, it's different philosophies, but I think both equally valid depending on what your predilections are, what your talents are, and just what you like, or what your instructor is good at.
Yeah, I like what you're saying about mastering your own body. In PANANTUKAN, you're mastering their body too. So like Roy would say, maybe you jab and then throw a good kick, open them up, or throw a hook to get them on their leg so you can throw a kick. This is making sure that they stay there. Even if I step on the foot, I'm not only mastering my body and throwing technique, I'm mastering their body so I don't have to worry so much about them mounting an offense back at me. So when it comes to the pads, if we look at this, boom, there, he could put it here, and this could be a shot just to move him, like we said, pushing. Or if we want to get a little bit more finesse, go ahead and throw the jab. One, I go here, I go on the neck. Now I'm controlling the body a little bit more to throw my shots there. If he moves into me, that's okay. I move him out and I can throw from there. So it's still mastering not only my body and my mechanics, which if you have fantastic mechanics and then you can master their body, those shots are going to be awesome when they connect. But if you're a little bit more loose, but you're moving their body, it affords you a little bit of, I don't want to say slop, but it affords you a little bit of time to be able to measure and really hit from there, as opposed to having to wait until there's a door open. We create the door and we leave it open, right? Whether we push or shove or whatever. So,
yeah, great thing about MMA, this is largely legal. I mean, some of the rabbit punching, back of the head, illegal. Obviously, eye gouge, illegal.
Yeah, I can't do that
A lot of this stuff is legal. And by the way, if you're not sure how much this hurts, right, just hold for that forearm shot, right? Like I'm not jumping. That's just what that feels like. And so, if he just taps my neck with that, you imagine what that's going to do to you, right? And so a lot of this dirty boxing range stuff, MMA fighters just get here and then they kind of go into the clinch. Why, right? Why not when he puts the clinch on? Forearm smash, right? Bicep. That is a much more percussive, effective clinch strategy, in my opinion, in a sport where it's just allowed.
Right. Yeah, and that's a lot of that stuff where if you're an MMA guy, this stuff is legal. You just don't see a lot of the detail work put into that. It's a lot of, that kind of thing and maybe a couple elbows. But if I can loosen them up with one shot and then get back into, and then maybe even get back into the clinch, you've disoriented them in something they're not seeing. I'm seeing it a little bit more. You see a lot of the guys that are kind of delving deeper into the art, you kind of see those shots. But by and large, you don't see it a lot, but it really would help. I think if for those guys that are fighting now, just if you're in your clinch position, bang, one shot like this, maybe a shot like that, and see how I'm wrenching the arm. That's still legal. That's stuff that's legal for you, but it's not used as much. But the idea is to get him in a position where it's hard for him to hit and easy for you to hit, instead of just squaring off.
Yeah, think about like just taking mount, but in a standing position. Dominant position doesn't have to be on the ground. Okay, so I was a little rambling, but just, when you get martial artists together, that's what happens.
Yeah, right.
I want to thank Guru Josh Pryor. Check him out if you're anywhere near Madison, Wisconsin. Happy to have him out here. This is Royal Kick Legend. Keep your chin down and elevate your striking.